Hey, friend. Welcome back to the Anchored with Purpose podcast. Today, we're talking about something that shapes every part of our lives: habits. Our habits are the rhythms that either anchor us in peace and purpose or leave us drifting and overwhelmed. And the truth is, most of us don't need to completely overhaul our lives. What we need are the small, consistent steps that move us in the right direction, the kind of habits that line us up with who God created us to be. So let's talk about how to build habits that last, why small habits add up to help you reach big goals, and of course, some practical strategies that you can start today. First, let's talk about why habits matter. Well, first of all, habits are stewardship, how we manage our bodies, our time, and all of the gifts that God has given us matter to God. In fact, in Luke 16:10, he tells us, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." Now, I want to share with you two books that really shaped how I look at habits. One of them I read a long, long time ago in my leadership days in retail, and one of them I read just this summer. So the first one is Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I read this one years ago. Oh my gosh, I hate to say it, but it's probably going on like, I don't know, 17, 18 years ago, maybe, when I read this. One thing that Stephen Covey says is, "Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny." Gosh, when I think about what this means is if we start, first with our thoughts, then we know that our thoughts become actions, right? And then we can take that into a habit. And then when we really form those habits, that helps form who we are as people. Then when we're sowing that character, that reaps our destiny. We're going to talk a little bit about what James Clear talks about in a second, but one of the things I love that he talks about is becoming. And the point here is that our habits kind of shape who we are. One of the things that James Clear from Atomic Habits talks about, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money grows through compound interest, your small daily actions compound who you become. There's so many different ways that habits are forming us, and whether they're good or they're bad habits, what are some of the good habits that we want to continue to build on? And then what are some of those maybe bad habits that you want to break and start developing good habits around us? Now, let's get into the second point here. You know me, I'm a goal getter. I love achieving goals. I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm an achiever. So this is where I really need this reminder from James Clear, who says, don't just chase goals, build identity-based habits. So this is where we start those, I am a person who. So instead of saying, for example, I want to read my Bible every day, you want to say, I am a woman who meets God daily in his word. Another one here, instead of, I want to exercise more, this is where you say, I am a strong, healthy person. When your habits flow from your identity, they stick because you're living out who you believe you are. Now, I've got these new supportive stories and things that I put, that I've got in my own planner, that I look at and read every day. And one of the things that I read is, I am a woman who works out every day. I'm reaching my goals. I have reached my goal weight of, which I'm not going to say that here. I have reached my goal size of, and that's just speaking that and then believing that it's going to happen. When these habits become part of who you are, you're going to make them happen. So I had written down, my gosh, years ago now, that I am a woman who is healthy and all of that, that I have the energy to be the kind of mom that my kids need me to be. And I'll tell you, these habits took time to build. Just because I wrote that down and read it to myself every day didn't actually make it happen. Gosh, wouldn't it be great if that's what actually happened? But we have to be the ones to take action and make that happen. So it started where I had to not just believe that I was the kind of woman that worked out every day and was reaching her goal size and goal weight and had the energy to keep up with her kids. I had to start taking action. And it was imperfect. I will tell you this, when I first started this, it was absolutely imperfect. I would go for walks, or I would do like workout videos on YouTube, or I would, gosh, I think I had shared this before, but I once saw these women working out in the park where I walked every day, and I started working out with them. And then as it got colder, I was working out in my garage with one of them. But it all was inconsistent. It wasn't until I had signed up for a challenge at my gym at the end of April that I began building that consistent habit. And one thing I will share here is that when it comes to a habit, if you've got a little skin in the game, that also helps. So once I forked over some money to join this challenge at the gym, then I was like, oh, I better actually go there every single day that they're open, which was 6 days a week. And then they had walks or runs on Sunday you could go to. So I committed 1 hour per day, minimum every day for a month. And things changed so much just from that, that now I truly am the person who gets up and moves her body every single day. If you had asked me 1 year ago if I would be going and doing 5 a.m. workouts at the gym every single day, I'd be like, that doesn't sound right. Maybe in my garage a few days a week, but not every single day actually leaving the house. But I'm telling you, once I started building that habit, it actually was pretty easy to keep up. I just had to keep going. So I want you to think about that. Now, the third thing I want to talk about here is habit stacking. And James Clear talks about this in his book, Atomic Habits. And I love this formula. I've built on it a little bit. So the formula that he gives is after I, and then it's whatever that current habit is, and then it's I will, a new habit. So for example, maybe your current habit is to wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee. So your habit stacking becomes after I pour my morning coffee, I will open my water bottle or my Bible. I started looking at the second one. The next one is after I brush my teeth, I will fill my water bottle. That's like, let's just say maybe you want to be drinking more water. So here's how I want to, share with you how this works. So I had started doing this. So as a habit stack for me. So one of my favorite ways to end the night is I love to take a nice, hot, relaxing bath in Epsom salts before I go to bed. It helps me relax, even whether I actually need a bath or not, because I shower in the morning after the gym. There's just something so special about it. That's why I relax and read, and it just is amazing. So here's my habit now. So after I take my bath, I put on my gym clothes. Okay, hear me out on this one. It's crazy. And get the rest of my gym clothes out for tomorrow. So people are probably going to hate this, but I don't care. I sleep in the top part of my workout outfit because it helps me be halfway ready for the gym already in the morning. I will sleep in my sports bra and workout top for the next day. And then I get out my socks and my shorts, or my socks and my yoga pants that I'm going to be wearing the next day for the gym. That way, that's all ready to go. So this is where, one of the barriers sometimes to actually, completing a habit like going to the gym is that getting ready for it, like making sure I've got everything I need. It's so simple. I was already taking a bath every night. I've already got to put something on to sleep in. So why not? And my workout clothes are comfy and loose. So it didn't, it wasn't restrictive or anything. So it worked out great. So after I take my relaxing bath, I get all of my gym clothes. I put on the top part. I have everything else ready to go for tomorrow. So this is the cool thing, is that you don't have to create new time. You just attach a habit to something you're already doing. So I just have to tell you, this works. There's so many different ways that you can habit stack too. I had promised you I'll share how I kind of built on his formula. So sometimes instead of just saying after this, I will, sometimes I like to say before this, I will. So, for example, I'm definitely a morning coffee drinker, but after working with a nutritionist, I had to start drinking lemon water, hot lemon water every morning. So, rather than it being after I drink my coffee, I will drink the lemon water. It's got to be before because I have to drink the lemon water before my coffee. So, that is a habit that I stacked before I drink my coffee. Then the coffee is like a reward for finishing my lemon water. I get to have that. I stack that on top of another habit. So then and this is not after, this is while I'm drinking my lemon water, that is when I am doing my quiet time with God. So that is when I'm in the YouVersion Bible app, reading the scripture and going through the daily refresh and praying. And then I'm still drinking my hot lemon water as I'm doing my gratitude journaling and my memory verse. And then by the time memory verse is done, I'm typically done that. Then I get to have my coffee. While I'm having my coffee, that's when I'm reading my devotionals. And that's when I'm, writing down like what I'm hearing from God and key points. And that's when I'm writing out some of my prayers for the day. So this is where it doesn't have to just be that one specific formula. It can be multiple ways. So before I do this, after I do this, while I do this, we do need to be careful with the multitasking though, keeping it where we are still productive. We are not doing it too many things at one time. Another way I do habit stack on top of this too is recovery is important. I have a recovery mat that I lay on while I'm doing those things. And then I also have different massagers too, because, getting a little bit older and especially now that I'm working out. So sometimes those massagers are just automatically working on my shoulders while some of my other habits are happening too. None of these are a distraction from anything. And so I think that's the key point is we don't want to be doing multitasking to where we are distracted and not getting anything done. So keep that in mind. So the next thing we want to talk about is how your environment helps to shape habits. So James Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. So here's the thing. We want to be making our habits obvious, easy, attractive, and satisfying. So these different habits that you're trying to make, how can you make them obvious and easy? So, for example, for me, how do I keep the habit of having hot lemon water in the morning easy? Well, I chop up all of the lemons and keep them in a little container in my refrigerator. I have my kettle, like my electric kettle, right next to my coffee maker, which is right near all of the cups, so that when it's time for my hot lemon water in the morning, I'm able to just do it. So I come downstairs, turn on my kettle, go back upstairs. That's when I wash my face, put in my contacts, come back down. Hot water is ready to go. Coffee is brewing. So then I'm able to have that hot lemon water ready to go. If you've got a habit like you want to build in gratitude journaling or spending time in God's word, this is where you want to have a little setup close to where you're going to be doing these things. So in my office, that's where I've got a little chaise lounge set up. It's got comfy pillows, my recovery mat, a warm, cozy blanket. It's got a little ottoman next to it that I open up, and that's where I sip my coffee in it or my hot lemon water. And then it's got a little caddy that has my journal, my devotionals, my prayer books, my pens, my highlighters, all of that. So I've got everything I need nearby to help me have a successful morning routine. So you want to just reduce any friction. So here's an interesting one too. Let's just say you want to be the kind of person who gets into God's word every day and who prays every day. So you're going to have a little space set up and it's dedicated for that. Or maybe you're doing this at the kitchen table, but you've got a little caddy set up ready to go. But let's just say maybe your phone is a distraction for you. This is when you want to remove the friction by putting your phone in a different room. Keep it out of sight and out of mind. And then your reward for doing that, then you can have a little bit of screen time. So if you're trying to develop that habit, it's after I have my time with God, then I may. And then if it's look on social media for 10 minutes, but give yourself some guidelines there. So often I talk to friends and other women who are like, oh my gosh, I wake up and next thing I know, I've been in bed doom scrolling for an hour. Friend, you have big, important things to do, big goals to achieve. You've got a purpose. So we're going to work on building these solid habits for you. So let's talk about some tools that you can use to help you with these habits. Well, first, we know that habits stick when they're tracked and celebrated. So here's where I want to share with you. This is where having a planner really helps you. It's more than just keeping your schedule. It really is a visual anchor for your habits. So it's scheduling those habits in. So for example, in my planner, I've got it in 15-minute increments because that is how, first of all, my brain works best in 15-minute increments, but it also helps you to be more productive when you can see these tasks. Oftentimes, some things, like if you look at it and say, oh, I can get this done in 15 minutes. Oh, this task will only take 15 minutes. It really helps you. So this can help you become a visual anchor. So at the top, I've got my morning time with God. Then I've got my workout in there. Then I'm able to put in my different meetings and things. And then I can schedule in any other habits that need to be in there. So I actually have a free version of the last 4 months of the year of the Anchored with Purpose planner. You can get that. It's in the show notes. You can also get it from anchoredwithpurpose.com. But here's what I also want you to do is I want you to celebrate those habits too. So in my planner for every single week, I've got a little spot that says weekly wins. So if you've got a win that you want to celebrate, put that in there. In the planner that is going to be coming out in a couple of months, I don't have this in the free version yet, but it will be in the new version. There is a habit tracker that will be in there to help you track these habits. And that really helps you to see like, oh my gosh, wow, I committed to working out every day this week. And look, I did it. And there's just something so satisfying and gratifying about being able to color in those little spots showing that, yes, I did exercise every single day, like I said I was going to. And that helps to build your confidence in yourself too, that, okay, wait for it, that I am the kind of person who does, and then fill in the blank. All right, here's the other thing though that I want you to know is habits are not about perfection. I know the inner perfectionist in me cringes at this because I want then to have my habit tracker filled out for every single day, for every single thing. But really building these habits is about progress. It's not going to be perfect every single time, which is so hard. But here's what I do want to share with you is that we do want to be intentional and work towards I'm going to take a note out of my friend Callie's book here, perfect-ish. We want to get towards perfect-ish. So James Clear tells us missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. And I'm going to share with you just a personal example of this one. So I've already been sharing my hot lemon water. I have been so good about drinking hot lemon water every morning for the last couple of years. Well, last month we were working on our kitchen and it was a disaster. Like we had everything out of the kitchen in the dining room, in the butler's pantry. It was a mess. Grocery shopping was tricky. I didn't even have like my electric tea kettle plugged in. It was like somewhere in the dining room. So for the month of August, I didn't drink hot lemon water at all. And it was weird. Like it was like I was drinking a little too much coffee in the mornings too, because I was having 2 cups instead of a cup of lemon water and then coffee and then going to the gym, and like just didn't feel right either. So I noticed that it did not take long for me to fall off the rails with this habit that I had been consistent in for 2 whole years. So I made a promise to myself that starting this past Tuesday, that I would get back to my hot lemon water every single day. And I did it. So it just goes to show it's really easy to miss and make that a new habit if not doing it at all. But you can still go back and get back onto that habit. I love this quote here from Stephen Covey also. Be proactive. So, this is where you don't want to let failure or circumstances dictate your actions. You can choose your response. So, let's just say you plan out your whole week and you have these great plans for getting all of your habits done. And you run into an issue and you're like, oh, this isn't going to work for me. Getting to the gym this week is hard because, okay, well, what do we need to do to redirect to make that happen? Is it that maybe we need to choose a different time to go? That's okay if you have to choose a different time to go. The point is actually going, but don't let your circumstances dictate your actions because we know that our habits help shape our character. And friend, if we are becoming the kind of person who is healthy and strong and works out at the gym every day, then we want to do all we can within our control to make it happen. And here's the other thing I want to encourage you of. Don't think you have to start over again every Monday. Just begin again today. So if you don't do a habit from yesterday, it's okay. You don't have to wait. I could have said, okay, next Monday I'll start with my hot lemon water again. No, it was a Tuesday and our kitchen was finally done. And I was like, you know what? Today I'm going to cut up my lemons, even though they weren't cut up for me, which was an old habit I had been great at. I'm just going to cut up the lemons and I'm going to make sure I'm doing it. And you can build up those habits and do it. So, friend, here's my challenge for you for the week. Choose one small habit that matches the woman you want to become. Write that down in your planner and use habit stacking. So, after I do this, I will do this. Or my interpretation of it is also before I do this, I will do this. And then track it and celebrate these wins. So, friend, your habits are shaping your life, whether you realize it or not. The beautiful thing is, with God's help, you get to decide what kind of life you're building, one small step at a time. So start with one new habit, anchor it in your planner. And remember, you are a work in progress. You're loved by God, and you are fully capable of building the life He's calling you to. All right, friend, here's what I'm going to ask. If this episode encouraged you, please share it with a friend. And don't forget, if you're ready to anchor your habits with intention, check out your free copy of the Anchored with Purpose Planner. It's a tool that I created to help women like us build a life of peace, purpose, and joy. Until next time, friend, stay anchored with purpose.